ghosts real?
They say they live in a real-life haunted house. They called some real-life Ghostbusters.
Is there anyone here with us tonight?
The team recorded electronic voice phenomenon, believed to be voices from the other side.
Here's the second one.
Were you worried?
Petrified.
This show will send chills running down your spine.
Now, this is Christy. And Christy's here with her 13-year-old son, Dylan. Now, Christy and Dylan are convinced they live in a real-life haunted house. They say they've seen at least 2 ghostly spirits with their own eyes. And Christy claims one of these spirits actually reached out and touched both of them. It's a terrifying experience for this mother, and particularly a 13-year-old. Watch.
My name is Christy, and my son Dylan and I truly believe we live in a haunted house. And as soon as we moved in, strange, unexplainable things started to happen. One of the first things that happened in the house, we'd put pictures up on the wall, and we'd go to bed the next day. The picture would be on a different wall, in a different room. We'll be sitting in the living room watching TV, and we'll hear glass breaking in the kitchen. When we go in, there's no glass anywhere on the floor, on the sink, counters, nowhere. I was asleep in my room, and the drawers that are in my room are about 3 by 4, and they're really heavy to pull in and out. And I'd woken up and looked over, and they were opening and shutting all by themselves. And that was a pretty freaky time for me. One afternoon, I was in my room about to come downstairs, and I felt someone touch the back of my head. One night, I'd fallen asleep in the living room with the TV on, and I heard the TV shut off, and I woke up, and I looked, and walking from the living room to the kitchen, there was a beautiful woman walking with a long white Victorian dress, and that was the first time I'd actually seen the spirit that was in this house. After that experience, there's no denying that there are spirits living in this house. My son Dylan has the most experiences, and we don't know why.
One night, I was trying to go to sleep, and I saw a black shadow going into my closet. I had a hard time sleeping that night. Sometimes I can hear spirits talking and whispering coming from my closet. One day I came in from outside, and I saw the rocking chair going back and forth, and no one was around. One day I was dancing, and I turned around, and there was a spirit of a man wearing a white robe, brownish hair, and a goatee. It really scared me.
I want to help him as a mom, but I don't know how. I mean, I can't fight something I can't see. One thing about living in a haunted house is from day to day, you never know what's going to happen.
What was the worst thing you ever saw?
When I was dancing and I turned around and there was somebody standing there.
It was just like a ghost-like figure where you could see through the person.
Yep.
Have you ever heard anybody say anything?
Yeah, I heard whispering and talking out of my closet.
Wow. My son tells me that. I'm worried.
Oh, yeah.
Were you worried?
Petrified.
And you saw the lady in the television screen? Was it in the screen?
She wasn't in the screen. She was walking from the living room into the kitchen.
Now, did you do some research?
We did a little bit of research, and we found out who had built the house, and she's actually the one that I had seen. She's in the house.
Well, after Christy and Dylan experienced one too many terrifying experiences in the house, they called some real-life Ghostbusters, called the Dark Angel Paranormal Investigators. Now, this team, they're experts in all things supernatural. I mean, they're kind of like Ghostbusters. And they caught some shocking, unexplained things on the tape. Watch.
Christy and Dylan requested that the Dark Angel Paranormal Investigators of Connecticut determine whether a supernatural presence lurked in their home. Armed with an array of specialized equipment, the investigators began collecting various types of raw data. Team members began to analyze video captured in both Dylan and Christy's bedrooms.
Right now we're seeing an orb in Dylan's room upstairs. There's a second one, same way, going through the room. Oh, look at this one. It came right out of his room into Christy's room, making a little bit of a loop. We'll have to double check those rooms afterwards.
Meanwhile, an investigative team entered Dylan's room and conducted an EVP session.
Is there anyone here with us tonight?
Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
Does our presence here bother you?
When the audio collected in the room was played back, several startling discoveries were uncovered.
We just started playing back some of our EVPs, and I picked up this thing. You probably should hear this. Here's the second one.
Then the entire team participated in a paranormal communication technique known as table tipping, where spirits are encouraged to answer questions through the movement of a table.
John, are you here? Or Anna?
You definitely feel like a pulsing in the table, like a vibration, like a wave, or when you put your hand on it.
Yeah, I'm getting, the table shaking.
Members of the investigation team revealed their chilling assessment to the family, confirming Christie's suspicion.
There's some definite paranormal activity going on.
Now, Ray was one of the investigators at Christie's house. Are you convinced, Ray, that there's something going on there?
Yes, I think there's definitely something going on in that house.
What would be the most convincing evidence, would you say?
The EVPs we picked up, the voices just definitely
The one
tells
that
us.
said, get out?
The one that says, get out and get out of his room.
Thank you very much, Ray. So we wanted to help Christy and Dylan get even more insight into what was going on in their home. So we asked a friend of our show, Jeffrey Wands, who's the author of Another Door Opens. And we asked Jeffrey to go to Christie's house and see what psychic impressions he could pick up. Watch this.
Without ever meeting the family or having been to their home, Jeffrey Wands traveled to Massachusetts. After taking notes on what he was sensing, he then entered the house and shared his thoughts with Christy and Dylan.
When I first walked in the house, I went back towards the kitchen. So on that other side, which would be the other side of the wall, that's where they were showing me the fire. You could feel that it kind of disproportioned the house a little bit.
The investigator has said that there was a fire in the kitchen.
There is definitely an Ann and Anna, a hard A name that keeps coming through that's here.
Some of the history of the house that we do know is Anna's the one that owned it back in the 30s.
I do have a baby here that's passed, which means this would have been like a pregnancy or something that didn't make it.
My mother had a miscarriage after I was born.
They keep talking about John's.
My father is John.
Somebody else, like they were referencing that had a tattoo or had some sort of marking on the arm.
My dad had a tattoo on his arm.
Did anybody trip like by the stairs or had any issues going up the stairs?
I've taken a couple spills down them.
Okay. Because that's him.
So he's just gonna stay here.
I don't think he's moving on. According to him, it's his house, so this is what he keeps talking about. But he makes a very big deal about Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan was a big deal to him.
Jeffrey requested to enter Dylan's room to see if he could shed any more light on the situation.
When I first came in the house, I was drawn up here, and I didn't know his name, your name, or anything else. And that's why your dad kind of led me up here. So it's like, it was your dad's way of showing him off. Actually, the combination of who's touching him is Anna.
Okay.
You know, like how you stroke somebody's hair?
Yeah.
That's exactly what she does. You get afraid, you shouldn't get afraid. You should just acknowledge they're there. They're not here to hurt you.
What'd you think about what he told you?
I was,
Was he spot on?
Oh, yeah. He said things that only my dad would know, and my dad's been gone for 9 years.
Jeffrey, who do you think's haunting the house?
Definitely her dad, and there was actually a woman that was there.
The woman that she saw?
Yeah, I think that's who it was. But her dad is quite a character, and he was quite, like, I can't even say the words that I heard. He was very explicit. Everything was beep, beep, beep,
As
beep,
he would
beep.
say, he was earthy, huh?
Yes.
That's my dad.
Salty language.
Oh, yes.
So what should they do?
I wouldn't do anything. I don't think, you know, we're not talking about somebody that's benevolent or going to hurt him. I wouldn't do anything differently. I think
So they're
it's
going to
fun.
be kind of kind.
Yeah, they weren't. This was his grandpa, and this wasn't a, you know, a negative spirit.
Okay, Dylan, don't worry about it. Thanks so much. Good to see you, Dylan. Thanks, Christy. We'll be back right after this.